You know, every person wants to be loved and affirmed and nurtured, and you know, you can have those things missing from your life, and which leaves a gap like anything that's missing, and you can try and fill that gap with substance, with chemicals, with all the wrong things, with money. All these things in themselves are not bad, but when they become excessive, they're a poor substitute for the real thing. I have a history in drug abuse myself, you know, going back through the years. Possibly by the looks of me, you see that I like motorcycles possibly, and I was involved in motorcycle gangs, and that was all kind of, it was a subculture that I was involved in, and a heavy part of that was alcohol and drug taking. I'm Gerard Carney, and I'm assistant manager of a Tiglin men's rehabilitation centre here in County Wicklow. Basically, what we do here is we provide long-term rehabilitation for people suffering from life control issues, drugs and alcohol, pornography, gambling, things like that. I mentioned that it's a long-term rehabilitation, so the minimum that you'd spend with us on the program here will be 16 months. You know, when students come to us, we have 5 phases of the program, and induction phase, which is the very first phase when you come in the front door, lasts about a month. You know, we try and give people space away from the outside influences of the world to actually find themselves and get settled and find out what's going on with them. Often we find that people will come to us and say, well, look, I want to change my life, but when we probe the conversation a bit further, sometimes it's only their circumstances that they want to change.
Niall is my name. I'm 42 years old. After I'd say 12 years of drug addiction, and I had been through at least half a dozen residential treatment programs, secular programs. I ended up living in a homeless shelter in the centre of Dublin. I was a heroin user, and I'd had several overdoses, and I heard about Tiglin, and I came here 2 years ago. On a normal weekday, get up in the morning at 7 o'clock and up here into this room for quiet time for 7:30. For those 15 minutes we just spend time in here. It's not like it's quiet, no one's allowed to speak, and people just read the Bible or pray, and it's given the beginning of your day to God, seeking God before you eat anything, or, you know what I mean, feed yourself spiritually first. Then at 2 o'clock we have work duties from 2 until 5, and various jobs around the place. At the moment the lads are chopping up the ice along the driveway there so the cars can get in and out. And then 9:30 to 10 we have prayer time outside. We all sit around outside in a circle and pray and just give up the day to the Lord and go to bed, and lights out 10:15. Many times I've gone to John because I'd be going through stuff, and I've sat in this very room and broke down crying, and he's prayed with me, and he's somebody who I really trust 100%. I wouldn't be afraid to tell him anything. I would never be afraid that he'd break confidentiality in any way without asking my permission. He's somebody who I really trust. It's so important for him to get it right when it comes to my welfare, because he knows how important I am to God. And that is something that, when he said it to me, really struck me.
it's a tremendously satisfying thing or experience to see somebody come in here, you know, all bound up and caught up in addiction and life control and stuff, you know, to see the evidence of that in their lives, as in turmoil and lack of peace, and people who come to us from the homeless community, you know, even the basic things like hygiene and sanitation are gone. People's lack of self-respect, self-esteem, and then to see them, you know, commit to Jesus in here basically, and have their lives changed tremendously exciting.